always good to be able to see whether streaming's working or not. By the way, my new modem has arrived, and next week we will be trying it out. I will wait until Friday after the net. But yes, I'll tell you what we'll be doing this morning. We will be looking at weather on the eastern side of Fiji, because I know there are people that want to clear out of the Bay of Islands to get down to the southern Lao to make ready for the big rally coming across from Tonga. David will be covering that. We know that there is people up in Bilbao, also pretty much from Anisham through to, between Anisham and Luganville really. There's a few people there. So definitely covering that, as well as all the mob in Fiji, of course. Just a bit of news from other people. Kukela, Josh looks as if he's almost ready to go from Opua. And what have we got? I'm not in that area, and you need a bit of clarity on whether you'll have to pipe up. And thanks to Margie, I have discovered that there was one vote which consolidates all the reports. And unless you put weather in your square bracket so it pops out, I don't see anything. And for example, I never saw any report at all from Libertalia, but Margie actually drew my attention to a photo they'd put on of all the boats in Morel, and there I discovered they were in fact reporting weather, but not isolating it. So if you put the weather report in your basic status report, I don't get to see it. So it is very helpful to be able to see the weather. For one thing, I know where you are, because just the position report doesn't tell me anything. But it does make it useful for us to have a look and see whether your weather is actually matching up with the models, because it gives us an idea of whether the models are working all right. So please, if you are reporting on the YIT site, put square bracket weather and just give me the report of the weather. And then I can hover over that and get the rest of it. But if there's nothing there, then I don't think you are reporting, and it's just the automatic Iridium Go. And the same thing happens if you report in on CruiserSat.net. If you could just put your weather in, that would be very useful. All right, now, having said all that, I should probably, at this point in time, see whether David's got any comments about Jeffrey's trip to Cairns. I'll pass the microphone.
Yes, well, Jeffrey has chosen a very, very nice trough to go through, and that's just what's happening. So he's in the middle of it, and that's the one that was there yesterday as well, and probably going to be there through tomorrow. The seas, though, are not projected to be very large. We're looking at combined sea and swell 2 meters from what the charts are telling me. Now, if Jeffrey's getting more than that, I'd like to know it. But that's what I'm getting the reports of 2 to 3 meters. Coming from slightly different directions, the swell is coming more or less from the, I guess you would say, south-southwest. Just call it southerly. And then the wind-driven waves are coming more from the southeast. And that changes as you get closer to the coast of Australia. They start to not exactly come from the same direction, but close to it. But still nothing higher that I could see. Hang on, I'll look a few days more here. Yeah, I'm making a jump to the tail end of the week, and nothing really, nothing at all to be concerned about. It may get up to 3.5, but I don't see it any higher than that. And most of the sea and swell is more or less in the right direction. So there you go, Jeffrey.
That was all a good copy, David. Thank you very much for listening.
Oh, good copy.
Oh, well, that's good copy. What are your overall sea conditions? Over.
I've got them here. Well, you came up and you disappeared again. We have got the one that you reported anyway, which I didn't actually pass on to David. He was doing something else, but I'll put him back to David.
What?
You said you wanted the thing.
No.
No, he didn't need it. So all good there, Jeffrey. All right. Good morning, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, ZMH 286, and we are Patricia and David. And now that I can see that the sky it's not looking very wonderful, about 80% cloud cover, I suppose. 12 degrees out there, so not very tropical here. 1024.7 rising, and 4 knots from the east. Sort of not really much to go by. It hasn't really filled in yet. There was an interesting question on the way the winds change in the mornings. I'm not sure that David will get to that today, but we'll certainly.
I did that on an email.
Oh, you did that on an email. Oh, all right. Anything from? All right. Well, actually, I might leave it for a few minutes before we ask for anything from you guys. The conditions are changing quite rapidly at the moment. Just a bit of news to start your day. You'll remember last year they tried. This relates to this big pile of floating junk that's out there in the Pacific Ocean between California and Hawaii. Bright Angel commented on it when they were on their trip home. It's just a huge island of rubbish that's floating there because of the currents and so on.
It's old politicians.
Old politicians and plastic, I suppose. But anyway, they sent out a long, big floating boom arrangement, and a rough sea destroyed it. So they're now trying again, and a new one has set off from San Francisco. It's about a 600-meter long floating boom, which it's sort of like a split. You do 2 fingers, it's sort of like a split thing. It's a second attempt, and hopefully it might work better than the first one. But they are trying to corral this garbage together. And I don't know what they're going to do when they do corral it, because there's not many places in the world want it. But anyway, I suppose it's better if it's together. You probably heard that in the UK, the leadership races between Boris Johnson and Jeremy Hunt. Unfortunately for Boris, police were called to his apartment, well actually it's his girlfriend's apartment over the weekend, as they had a pretty rambunctious war. A great argument, things got thrown, I think a computer ended up somewhere. She was yelling she wanted him out and all sorts of stuff. The police came, and so that hasn't helped him very much, but he's decided not to comment on it because he thinks they should just stick to politics and not personal life. So it sounds like he throws tensions pretty well. God, what with him there and Mr. Trump in the White House, the world's going to get pretty exciting. All right, in Japan, there is a new way of finding a partner. Now, all you people out there have found your partners, and they must be pretty solid relationships, because you don't get to sail in a small boat unless you have a good solid relationship. But evidently in Japan, singles are having a real hard time finding somebody, even though 60% of them said that they really aren't doing anything much about it. Probably because mum's looking after them. Anyway, but there is a new system, and it's a new blind dating system. You can now get a DNA match. God knows how this works and what they look at, but it's a very speedy process. They look at your DNA, and they have been working on genetic capability, and whatever it is in the string that attracts you to other people and vice versa is what they're looking at. So that's going to speed things up, and you'll be able to find your new partner for your lifelong relationship in a matter of minutes.
Then you do new taxpayers.
Yeah, new taxpayers. All right, for those New Zealanders, especially around the Auckland area, you will know of Bob Salthouse, one of our famous boat designers. He was 83. He actually lived in Gulf Harbour here, and he died in June, early June, about the 8th, I think it was. He designed about 750 boats, including the Salthouse Corsair and Sovereign ranges, and many of you will be familiar with the Cavalier yachts. We actually are, because we almost bought one. In fact, we did. We offered, this is when we had a Hans Christian. David got really fed up with the lack of speed of the Hans Christian. We came back to New Zealand one year, and he decided we needed a new boat, and we actually offered this guy what he wanted for his Cavalier, and then he pulled out of it, and this was kind of annoying because we'd brought money over from the States. But anyway, we didn't end up with a Cavalier, which was good because we ended up with Chameleon, who was bigger and brighter. But anyway, he has designed a lot of interesting boats, the Pacific Mermaid, the 32-metre super yacht, and the Deodar, the police boat here. So he is sadly no longer. What else? Oh, I did mention yesterday the demonstrations in Prague. There were 250,000 people there. It's just absolutely humongous demonstration. And the Prime Minister, Babis, I think his name is, whatever it's pronounced, is accused of fraud, which is, of course, pretty standard. And, yeah, what else is new? But also of collaborating with communist-era secret police, which wouldn't go down too well in Czechoslovakia.
They better be 90 years old.
Yeah, they must be pretty old by now. He's a billionaire tycoon with a populist leaning, whatever that means. But he has denied the allegations, of course. But on Wednesday, which is actually tomorrow their time, there is going to be a non-confidence vote planned by the opposition parties. All right. Well, in North Carolina, this was quite interesting. You would have been very ecstatic to know you had won the $7.8 million lottery. The only problem was there were over 2,000 people who also won it. It is absolutely amazing. You wouldn't the odds of that happening would be rather large, I would think, but that would be rather upsetting. You'd probably celebrate all night and then come down with a thump, wouldn't you? Well, here's something a little bit different for our news. This is for the ladies out there. Armpit hair is the new beauty. Well, I wouldn't say it's a revolution, but it's the latest thing. It's sort of a bit like the revolt against all the demands for, what people think are beautiful things to do. And you really want to sort of have a stand against these restrictive and annoying standards. So, like in the 60s and 70s, throw away your bras and stilettos and shaving products. And the new look is a little bit more sophisticated than just growing armpit hair, however. For example, if you have light green streaked hair, then your armpit hair has to match. And it's not just sort of long and hairy, it's sort of like a buzz cut, but in a different colour.
A bunch of idiots.
God knows. I would say that is conforming to things rather than putting your finger up.
The women are going to stink.
You're going to have your arms up waiting for it, because it takes quite a while to dye hair, so you probably have to have your arms up.
I want to comment.
Yeah, you want to comment? No, I don't know that we want to hear your comment, do we?
This is absolutely nuts. These women are going to really stink. When I was in Vietnam, folks, I'm going to digress a few years. I shaved my armpits, as many of my compatriots did, because it reduces the smell when you're in the field. And just to see a whole bunch of hairy women running around, being close to them on a subway or a bus, wow.
Okay,
I think they need to develop a new deodorant for them.
Well, our cruisers won't have to worry, because if they get a bit smelly, they can just jump in the water. I'll tell you what, you wouldn't want to have long arm hair in Paris this week, because it's going to get to 40 degrees. It's very, very hot there at the moment, which is why about 40% of the new recruits that came out from the military academy there fainted a few days ago. Just a quick note for the Aussie woman. We have had some pretty good sporting results from Australia. Ashley Barry won the French Open tennis, and Hannah Green won the Minnesota PGA tournament. So the Aussie women are doing rather well. That's about it, although Mr. Trump has announced new sanctions on Iran. It's a bit of a jitter because of the increasing tensions between the US and Iran. So we'll keep a look on that, I suppose, but it is a bit tedious. And finally, I don't think we've got any Cambodian cruises, but this is just interesting from us, because when we bought our boat, the previous boat, which was a Hans Christian, we discovered that in those days in Taiwan, the people that were building it sort of lived on it whilst they were building it, and it's still the same thing in places over there. In Cambodia, an apartment block which was under construction collapsed, killing at least 24 workers who in fact were living on one of the floors, third or fourth floor I think it was, but it collapsed, killing them. So the habit of living where you're working is still quite prevalent in Asia. A bit of news from Wunda. Thank you, Pele. Cloudy morning, pressure 1016 over there, and in Fulanga, there's the Luna. Oh no, they're not. Heading to Fulanga, sorry. Bay of Islands, 100% cloud cover, 1017 on the bar. And I'll just do a quick call for anybody who's got any additional information. Please call now. Sounds like a voice I should know, but not clear enough. Could you just try again very loud? Over. Could the boat that called call again? And if I could have, please, a relay, I think, by the sound of it. Call again. I've got you, but I've missed the boat name, but go ahead. Okay, so you're Nyafu to Savu Savu. Have you left? Over. Okay, give us your position and conditions. Over. Okay, I got the 15, say to 15 to 20. I guess east with a bit of north in it. Was that what you said? Okay, so we'll, David's just having a look now. And I do need to get your boat name. Over.
Well,
just keep it short because I'm struggling with your signal. The boat name only. Oh, God, I'm having a struggle.
just isn't good.
No, is somebody able to do that? You're strong enough. I'm just not getting it clearly. Well, we'll try and work that one out later. I do need that though, folks. If you roughly in 176, it's 15 to 20 east, northeast, or just mostly east with a bit of northing in it. Here's David.
Yeah, that broadcast was loud, but just muffled, like you had a towel in front of the microphone. It's really just wasn't readable. But anyway, the synoptic picture looks pretty much as we forecast yesterday. We've got a weak low flying just to the northeast of Okua with a frontal band that extends, well, east, best way to put it. A trough pushes north, and a second trough pushes west. So we've got quite a bit of activity to the north of us here. The Tasman High, the high center, is actually just east of Tasmania. Central pressure of this, we're talking about 1038, 1038 millibar. Very strong anticyclone. And it's trying to ridge toward the islands. Now, we have a quasi-stationary front, possibly also known as a trough. It just depends on what the density differences are there. But in any case, it's what Jeffrey on Flying Fish is going through right now. It runs from the Coral Sea to southern New Caledonia. And then from there it goes east-southeast to just to the south of Minerva Reef. And then it goes onward from there. Now there's also an active trough that runs from the Solomons to northern Vanuatu. And then southeast to lie almost side by side with this frontal band that I just talked about. By lunch Thursday, a couple days from now, the Tasman High is going to move over New Zealand, and it's going to grow. I estimate central pressure 1040 at 1040. Now, this is going to create a very strong pressure gradient over the cruising routes and also the islands. Now, our little tropical disturbance still affects the Solomons. We mentioned that last couple of days, I think, but it hasn't moved, hasn't gone anywhere. It's still sitting there. In fact, it's been sitting there for 48 hours. So I don't think much is going to come of it, which is good, but it is there, and it does affect the immediate surrounding weather. Those of you pulling down your grids and weather charts, etc., thanks to this very strong anticyclone that is building and building, the islands are going to be in for strong winds and convective events. So be quite aware of that. Yachts on passage that are at, say, 30 south are going to have fairly light air today, but those at 25 south tomorrow are going to see the start of the stronger air regime. Now, Wednesday and Thursday, expect southeasters to about 20 knots. Friday, getting up a little bit more, maybe about 25 knots, and that's from 25 south northwards. Now, easterlies, that's the direction of the wind east of the date line, and southeast west of, we'll call it 175 east. So we can see two different air masses there with different wind directions. Now, none of this is very good news for Saturday, as the strong pressure gradient is going to make itself known for sure. Winds east-northeast to northeast near Fiji, they'll be about 25 knots, and cyclonic flow south-southeast of New Caledonia. We've got a small low that's popped up there, and it's going to be rotating, of course, cyclonically. Now, the winds are possibly going to get up to 40. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 40 knots. I would say east-southeast about 20 knots. And Friday, getting up to about 25 and maybe more in gusts. And that includes the passage from there to Tonga and Fiji as well. Now, Fiji is going to be looking at northeast winds at that point. Sunday, Monday time frame over Fiji, you could expect highly convective conditions, very strong winds, plus cloud and rain to include squally conditions, and there'll be wind shifts with that as well. So not looking too good at that point in time. Now, early this morning up in the tropics, as we mentioned, our trough runs from the Coral Sea past Vanuatu onto Raoul. The other trough runs near Rotuma. It goes on to Wallis, goes over Samoa, and on to the northern Quets from there. Now, we have another trough that's going to lie over Tokelau. I don't know that we have anybody up there, but it gives you the big picture anyhow. And that moves in a southeast direction to hook up with the trough that's crossing Samoa. So, okay, over to Tonga now. Imagery is showing cloud and showers from, well, really the breadth of the trough that's to the north. The axis is not over Tonga at all, but the amount of cloud buildup certainly is. It's a very wide system. Expect cloudy periods, therefore, with isolated showers. Tomorrow, cloudy and scattered showers, so a few more frequently than today. Now, winds today are not bad at all. East to east-northeast, I think maybe in the 15-knot range. Tomorrow, east-southeast 15 as well, but then they're going to start picking up tomorrow, getting up to about 20. Friday, we're looking at southeast 25. And this is going to continue Saturday and Sunday as the winds back to become easterlies. So the actuals this morning for Tonga, 1.8 as well, and Tonga Tapu northeast 5 and barometer 1020. Now moving over to Fiji, it's covered in cloud. Much of it is rain bearing. And a mix as well of low to high clouds. These high clouds again are ice clouds, way up there, cirrus clouds. So expect today cloudy conditions, scattered rain, easterly winds about 15 to 20. The winds are going to pick up. Saturday and Sunday, winds are looking like 25 knots, mostly easterlies, but shifting to the east-northeast as the day rolls on. The southern Lao on Sunday, east-northeast, I think getting up to 30 knots, and that's continuing on Monday. The northern Lao has a little bit less wind, north to northeast, about 25 knots. Either way, the Lao is going to simply just cop it on Sunday and Monday. And to make it worse, expect heavy convective activity Saturday and Sunday as well. Now, actuals this morning, Undu Point southeast 12, barometer 1016. The Asawas easterly about 15 knots, barometer 1014. Vanua Balavu east 15. Nandi light and variable, barometer 1015. Nasori variable, barometer 1016. Matugu down in the south, easterlies at 6, barometer 1016. Now the radar loop shows heavy showers from the northern Yasawas smack through Viti Levu and on through Kindavu, and scattered showers elsewhere as well. Now, those of you backing up here to the Lao, we are going to have a lot of wind and a lot of convective activity. So if these rally boats are going to be there as well as most of our regular cruising boats, well, just watch out, because with those kind of winds, that could be primed for a little bit of exciting activity, that's for sure. So pay attention to that. Vanuatu on imagery shows plenty of cloud from Port Vila to Anisha. Not too bad to the north, right up into the banks itself. Usually it's the other way around, but not this time. The actuals, Sola, easterlies 10, cloudy. Luganville was cloudy, easterlies 10 as well. Lamont, light showers, easterlies about 15 knots. Port Vila, cloudy with light showers, easterly 15. Lenikai, our volcano area, showers, southeast at 15. And down at the bottom, Anisham, showers, southeast 15. So these are actual conditions this morning. Now, Newcal on imagery shows cloud, but the heaviest bands have actually passed, looking at the loop. So for the southern lagoon, expect partly cloudy skies, scattered showers, winds east-northeast 10 to 15, and tomorrow partly cloudy, easterlies getting up to about 20, but gusts possibly getting up to 30 in the afternoon. Not very good for Thursday. Easterlies 20 to 30, but expected to be 40 to 45 knots. That's 40 to 45 knots, and heavy rain with that. So by all means, you do not want to be in the ELOs. So find some decent protection for that period. And that's it from me. Any questions or comments? Come now. Oh, there was a boat wanting to go from Brisbane to New Caledonia. Brisbane to New Caledonia. It doesn't look too bad. They could say hello to Jeffrey going the other way. So the only fly in the ointment is that little depression that's winding up south of New Caledonia. I believe that it will continue to stay to the south and move in a south to southeast direction and not directly affect you. But keep that in mind. That's later in the week. And apart from that, the winds should be in a decent direction for you and not too strong. So there you go. Here's the chief.
Well, frankly, I didn't think that report sounded very tropical, or I suppose it was tropical, but didn't sound very wonderful. Although I'm told by Amazing Grace, who have got honorary citizenship at Fulenga, that you can get some really, really good shelter there. But it doesn't sound all that great for getting there. Mezzaluna, I see on streaming, heading off today. It looks on the satellite picture not a very wonderful trip. So you're going to be certainly working hard. Is there anybody with any questions? Please call. Nothing heard. I don't hear our erstwhile diver over there, Alan, but if there is anybody, can hear anybody calling that I can't hear, any relays, please call. The boat that was going from Niafu to Savu Savu, could you just try again with your boat name, please? No, I'm still not getting it. Pilgrim, are you on frequency, or could somebody just clarify what that boat name is? Well, I guess we don't have too many people listening this morning because I'm not getting much help here. Just one final call, please, for help with the boat name. Thank you, Jeffrey. Go ahead.
Over.
Is that Hanson with an H? Over. Jeffrey, could you spell it phonetically, please? It's just one of those words that just doesn't come through. Hi, Candy. Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, I can't copy the vehicle, but you'll be
Esso. Oh, okay. Esso. Thank you for that. God, it's interesting, isn't it? How some words just do not come across, and it could be. I thought it might be echo, but it's Esso. So, all right. Thank you for that, and we'll work on it being Esso. Thank you, and Esso, we've got you now. We'll keep track of you again tomorrow. Anybody else? There's somebody with the relay. Go ahead. Oh, Essence. Okay. All right. Oh, well, I think we got there in the end. I still don't have much information on that one either. But anyway, thank you. Esther? Yeah, no, you've been there for a few days. Must be enjoying it. How's the water clarity? That's interesting. It's probably going to get worse too with this rather stormy weather coming. I hope you've got good anchoring conditions. Over. Aha, yeah. That sounded rather nice. Who was it? Kuperi reported it was rather good there. All right, thank you for that, and I'll be listening out later. We've just had an email from Jan for your interest. She had a pretty sporty night, but she's heading in the right direction now, so all is good with her. By the way, folks, the single-handed Jan, boy, did she get some weather last night. She is down at 34 south and 166 west, and last night she had sustained 35 to 40 knots with 5+ meter seas and 7 to 8 second periods. So it wasn't very good, but she's heading away from the low. She was just in the front there. So hopefully it will be nicer as she gets towards French Polynesia. Okay, everybody, I think I'll just do a pause to see if there's anybody else. Well, he's woken up. Good morning, and I presume all is well with you, otherwise you wouldn't be on the radio, Alan. Go ahead.
Yeah, right, yeah, all okay here. I think David explained that I was moving away, so I'm a bit less likely to get the wind that you gal might get over.
Is it correct?
Yes.
I'm just explaining to him that with that low that you reported moving away, that he's less likely to get the winds that are reported for New Caledonia if it's going away from him. Just remind you where he is. I don't think he knows where you are, but
Remind me again.
remind you again. All right, I'm just looking back in my notes here. For Quintessa at 2, well, we'll call it 22 and 159. 22 and 159, and he's been there a while and will be there for a while, looking for the elusive shell.
Thursday, 20 to 25.
Thursday, Alan, Thursday 20 to 25.
Southeast.
Southeast, over.
Roger, I'm sure I can handle that okay.
Yep, roger that. And any messages for the other side of the world, over?
Just go until hopefully do well over there.
Yep. I tell you what, they look a little bit on the hot side over there, but she has got a bit of altitude there, hasn't she, looking at those pictures? All right. Okay.
Yeah, the low is going to stay.
Hang on, I'll pass the microphone.
Yeah, and I've been looking at a couple of models, and the low is staying away from you, which is good. It's going to be east of the longitude of New Caledonia, so you're way up there to the northwest of it. So you should be okay. There'll be some fresh winds due to this big high, but that's about all you're going to see, I think. So good luck there. Over.
Yeah, Roger, thank you for that, David. Yeah, no, it's plenty of shelter in that window.
Well, it's amazing because it doesn't look like there's an awful lot. What's the highest point of that atoll, over? Oh well, you'll just have to. I presume the shelter is just the water then. All right, all sounds good. Yeah, the signals are up and down this morning. 1 minute you're booming in, and then you sort of fade away unless you sort of look away from the microphone. Anyway, I'm just halfway through the email to Denise, so she'll be happy to know all is well. Cheers, Alan.
Yeah, thanks for that.
And it looks like that's it. I can't look at my. I was just trying to read. I have to look at my. See, I'm holding my microphone in my left hand, so I can't turn my hand to check the time. And I did have a clock on the wall, but when I replaced the battery a couple of days ago, the hook came out, so it's no longer on the wall. But anyway, it's about 10 to 8. So you'll those people who are wanting to get to the SOPAC net can change frequencies now, and we will be back again with you tomorrow. Cheers, everybody.